Yeah.
Wow.
I've been banned for a few, why does it say 33 seconds? Say, hey, we live.
We are live. What doesn't say that? Something's going on here.
Mm-hmm. Right here.
Hmm.
For the past few months, I've been having a desire to go to Europe.
Okay. Say Happy Wednesday. Is it a Happy Wednesday?
It is. It's a wonderful Wednesday.
Yes.
It's a wonderful Wednesday.
Happy,
You
happy
want me to
Wednesday.
do this or
Happy,
you got
happy,
this? Because you
happy,
kind of
happy,
like slow
happy,
dragging,
happy
like, come
Wednesday.
on, come
I know you
on.
kind of threw me off. Happy, happy Wednesday. Hello, everyone. I'm Robert
Mm-hmm.
Henderson Jr., certified financial planner, certified tax coach. I'm also the president, founder, CEO of the Henderson Financial Group, and the Henderson Insurance Company. And it's my
Mm-hmm.
daughter, my wonderful, talented daughter here, who's a financial advisor also. She's been with me for 22 years. I'm so proud of her. And she's co-CEO of the Henderson Financial Group. She's my succession plan, which I'm probably going to be here about at least until age 100, but that's okay. I mean, she'll be here to age 150 or something, right? So you guys are in good hand. We're full service organization. We have clients all over the country, out of the country also. We've been doing this for over 30 years. Today, we're going to talk about are you acting rich? But not before we have my daughter say a few words. I know she's busting at the seam because now since she's talking, she used to be so shy, but she's not shy anymore, and she just got a whole lot to say. You're on, my daughter.
I'm still very shy.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I'm very reserved, very introverted. And yeah, but I do talk. I don't
yeah,
have no problem talking. I
yeah,
gotta
yeah. No, you. 10 years ago, she wouldn't say nothing. She'd get on there and go, but now she's just in the swing of it, and it's like, oh my God, she's like, hey,
Evolution.
this is her, this is what she was born to do. You know what I mean?
Evolution. I am your child.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So I am Hyacinth Henderson, the co-CEO of the Henderson Financial Group. What he said. Yes, we are a full service financial planning and investment advisory firm based in sunny South Florida. I absolutely love what I do. I love learning. I love teaching. I just love life. I love it.
Good.
So
You should. You're in a
that's
good
what we are.
position.
I am. I feel amazing.
Bless, bless, bless. All praise
Yeah.
to
The
the
most
Most
high.
High.
All right. Good job. Good stuff.
Okay,
All
so
right.
I was, a matter of fact, if you guys watched the show with me and James T last Saturday, I started talking about your family bank and getting out of debt. And, a lot of people are in debt, and there's a way to get out. You don't have to take all of your money. You can use other people's money to get out of debt. And it's a real fantastic program that we have here, and it's called the Good Program. So I definitely encourage you all to call the office at 305
825
1444
44.
so you can learn more about it. And it's a real good program, but it can help you. You just bought a car, or if you you need to, they give you 6 years or 5 years, you can pay the car off in 2 years, and that's not doubling up your payments. With your same monthly payment will show you how to do it, not even increasing your monthly payment. Okay, what we do mainly is, we're financial planners, financial advisors, financial physicians, and we have a unique approach. What we do is mainly we help people. We're pretty good at it too. We help you find the money that you are not, that you're
Losing
losing
unknowingly.
unknowingly. We really
And
do, and unnecessarily.
yes.
That's what we do. We find the money for you. You like, hey man, I ain't got no money. Let me look at your stuff. Let me look. Okay, I see right here we can save you on this. You're paying too much for auto insurance. You're paying too much for insurance, homeowners insurance. We'll cut that cost in half. Now you got an extra $500. What are you gonna do with the $500? Don't go buy your Gucci sweater. No, we're gonna take that money, and we're gonna create an asset. We're gonna pay off your debt with it, but not use the 500. We're gonna first protect you, and then we're gonna put that $500 in a secure account. Is really going to help you, and it's also going to protect you just in case you give up the ghost and die all of a sudden. Your loved ones, your beneficiary, them children will have something, all right? And yeah, okay, and we're going to show you how to do that. But remember, the main thing is we find the money that you think you don't have. Isn't that something?
It's amazing.
And it's amazing. You tell us how much money coming in, how much money going out. I tell you, we can reposition your assets and tell you your budget, and tell you exactly where the weak spot is and how we can pull more money. You have more money than you think. Now you're gonna have to change some habits. You're gonna have to really get a habit to start loving yourself and want to be prosperous. Everybody don't want to be prosperous. We found out. Some people just want to be poor, broke, and miserable. We're not talking to those kind of people. We're talking to people that says they want some help, right?
Absolutely.
But we specialize in that. We're financial physicians. We really show you how you much more than you ever thought you was.
Hey, Tracy. Happy
What's up,
Wednesday.
Tracy?
Hey, Jeff. Happy Christmas. That's right. Happy holidays. Yeah. So let's get it.
Acting rich.
Acting rich. So when you called me, or did I call you? I called you.
You call me, but I told you.
You told me. I let you tell me. I like when you tell me. I like that.
I'm daddy.
And that's right.
That's
That's
good.
please be the
That
daddy.
means
Let
you're
me call my
growing.
daddy. Absolutely.
Anytime daddy has something to tell you, say,
Mhm.
okay, let me listen, daddy.
Absolutely. I
Good
am
thing.
no longer a teenager or in my 20s.
Or did
Well,
you?
I know best. No. You
Yeah, but you look pretty good. So
figured out. So when you said let's talk about, acting rich.
yes.
And I was like, oh yeah, let's talk about that. Because my mind, I was thinking like acting as if, manifestation,
Oh, yeah.
visualization. Like I'm in the metaphysical world.
Oh.
I'm like, oh yeah, let's talk about that. And then when I got here, you were like, no,
No,
that ain't what I'm talking about.
that's not what I'm talking about.
Which is cool. It's to your point that you just mentioned when you talked about repositioning things.
Yes.
People having a pot of money, and the way they're using that pot of money will determine the kind of lifestyle that they're having, right? So
Yes.
two people could have the same pot of money, and one person could be living an abundant and prosperous life, and the other person can be struggling to make ends meet. Same pot of money, similar to same title,
Right.
acting rich.
Right.
And the way I looked at it versus the way we're going to explain it on today's topic, on today's show, and the way that we're going to explain it on today's show is much needed.
Yes.
So let us get into it.
Okay. What is Jeff saying there? I'm trying to read what Jeff said.
Don't focus on that. Just focus on what you have going on. Focus
All
on
right.
your focus.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So listen. All right. So when I say, are you acting rich? Because I was driving in today and a friend of mine, he called me. He says, hey, Rob, you want to buy some sweater? I said, I want to buy a sweater. He said, I know you don't. Well, maybe your son want to buy a sweater. So what kind of sweater? He said he had the
Christian Dior.
Christian Dior sweater.
Mhm.
And I say, how much is it going for? And he said, $1,800, but he'll let me have them for like $500. And I said, is it just a sweater? I said, yeah. He says, well, it have a D on it. I said, and it's $5. You said people are buying. I said, people are buying that for $1,800. He said, man, they're paying $2,500. I said, who's doing that? And he says, oh, a lot, especially people of color.
Mhm.
And I said, people of color, they doing that?
Mhm.
Who? I said, you get more out of having a Batman shirt on or Spider-Man. At least they're Capes Crusaders,
Mhm.
and they're crime fighters.
Mhm.
But Dior, Christian, I think Christian Dior, they
Mhm.
don't even know him. Why would they pay $1,800 and 20? She said, man, they want status. They just want to look rich. Everybody who want to look rich, that's what they do. I said, that don't make a lot of sense. Why would you want to look rich and act rich and not be rich?
Mhm.
And that prompted us. And I said, actually, let's talk about that, because I read a report. Matter of fact, I talked a little bit about this Saturday. There was this billionaire guy. He wrote an article and he said, the reason why most Americans will never be rich because they'd rather act rich and look rich than to be rich. And as I followed the article, he actually pointed out that half of Americans play the lotto. When you play the lotto every week, that means you really spending your money on chance, make believe. Like when I was a kid and I would go to the carnival, the local carnival,
Mhm.
and take a dime and try to win some cups or some glasses or whatever, and you wind up spending all your money.
That's what they were gifting. That was the prize back in the 60s.
Yeah, cups, saucers, glasses, or teddy bears or
Oh,
whatever.
I was gonna say, I guess. What?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And so that's chance,
Mhm.
And when you understand, you start learning, chance is not a business model.
Mhm.
It's not. You need something that deals with the laws of the universe, which means sowing and reaping. In other words, if I plant tomato seeds at harvest time, I should expect tomatoes.
Mhm.
Only a nut would plant tomato seeds and at harvest time think they're going to be watermelons, and then wonder why they're not watermelons. Is what did you plant? So we all are planting something. So when you are spending, he said half of Americans play the lottery weekly. And I said, oh my God. And then he said in the article, he said that the average auto payment is $720 a month. He says most people are Americans are obsessed with credit cards and debt.
Mhm.
And people are buying all these cars. And they don't have, and then when I read the article, he says the average American does not have, 50% American don't have $10,000 saved nowhere. And I just thought that was absolutely preposterous.
You couldn't believe what you were reading?
No, but then again, I do know that a lot of people do. Like he says, credit card debt, when you have someone that will go buy a Gucci belt and put it on the credit card,
Mhm.
they're acting rich,
Mhm.
but really they're poor, and then they got to pay 29%, 30% on the credit card.
Because they don't have the ability to pay it off at the end of the billing cycle.
Correct.
And so we want to break that down for our audience members who are listening. Hey, Meg. Hey, Miss Redhead. Hey, Miss Ward and DeLawrence and Mario. Hey, y'all. The gang's out here.
Hey.
So we want to break that down for the audience. So I'm an and type of girl. And so
Okay.
it's I don't live in the or land very often. I live in the and, as in I can have this and that. I don't want to just be able to either or it. Right. So when we are talking about, you'll hear us talk about luxury items and luxury experiences and things like that. And when we're talking about, Ms. Anderson just mentioned buying the Gucci belt and putting it on your credit card. The rest of that thought or sentences, you're putting it on your credit card and you're not in a position to pay it off at the end of the billing cycle. Therefore, you are overpaying for the belt or the item because they're charging you 29% interest.
Exactly.
So I want to make sure that everyone listening knows that I am not of the camp that vilifies luxury. That ain't me. That's not me, right? But I want to make sure that we do it in a certain way with everything, just like we talked about the example of repositioning your money, right? You have this amount of money coming in every month and you feel poor, but after you meet with us at the Henderson Financial Group, you have the same amount of money coming in every month. You are no longer feeling poor and you're paying down your debt.
And you're growing your wealth.
Same thing with this conversation. The problem is the masses, most people live in or land. I am either going to buy this Gucci belt or I am going to save towards my retirement. I'm going to buy this Gucci belt.
Charge it.
Or I will charge it, right?
Right.
I'm going to use credit because I can afford it right now.
Right.
Or I'm going to set some money aside for my investments. And it's very important that we say that because I don't want anyone that's watching this show to look externally and start to point the finger at external sources. It's easy for us to point the finger at the luxury designer brands because they charge so much. It's easy for us to point the finger at the marketers because they're marketing. Let's point that finger internal and say, what do I need to do to get to the space so that I have the discipline? I know who I am enough where I don't need the external validation, so much so that I am undisciplined. And instead of putting money away from myself, I'm only giving it all away.
Okay. So this is what that billionaire, what he was saying, the difference is between wealthy people, rich people, and people who are acting rich. Wealthy people, and I can attest to that. If $150,000 dropped out, $150,000 dropped out of the sky for me, I would take the $150,000 and I would put it into an investment that's going to pay me dividends every month of $1,500. So now I still have my $150,000, but I'll be thinking, now where can I put this $150,000? And if someone says, listen, Robert, you need to go buy a car. If I had another thought, another side of me, because there's two of me, right? So if one side of me say, Robert, $150,000 you just got, once you go buy this car, cash. And I'm like, no, I want to pay cash. I said, well, once you could put a down payment on it, and then you're going to pay for this luxury car, let's go buy a new Porsche. And the new Porsche, the payment is going to be $1,200 a month. So
ask me how I know.
I don't ask you how you know. So it's $1,200 a month. So I got this $150,000. A wealth mind would say, take the $100. Now, first of all, let me tell you what the average mind would say. $150,000 just dropped out of the sky.
I'm rich.
I'm rich. This Porsche costs $90,000 or $125,000. I can either buy it cash and have no more money and just drive down the road with all my money gone, but just driving and y'all looking at me. Or I could put a down payment on it, $20,000 down or $30,000 down, and the monthly payment be $1,200. And still, I put $30,000 down and paying $1,200 a month of my money. That means that out of my $150,000, I got to take $1,200, which is $14,000 a year, and pay the payment, and then do it for 4 years or 5 years, which is going to wind up costing more than what the car costs. Or I could use my wealth mind. My wealth mind said that I keep my $150,000, but what about the Porsche? Well, if I put my $150,000 into an investment that's going to pay me $1,500 a month, I take that $1,500 a month, and then I pay for the Porsche $1,200, keep $300, and I still have my $150,000 intact, like I never spent it. So I'll just use the interest and the dividends off the $150,000. So that's how wealthy people think. Like Heisey said, wealthy people like luxury, but they do it a different way than what poor people who don't have the $150,000. They just actually take and go charge it and go into debt to look rich. That's the difference. That's a big difference. And let me tell you something, that's huge. So the deal here is to change the paradigm of you all and thinking of you all who are watching and listening. You want to use your money to bring you more money so you can buy the purses and the sweaters and all that. That's why I actually said she don't want to belittle or say that it's a bad thing to have luxury, but it's a certain way how you do it. And doing it a certain way, that's what the Henderson Financial Group is all about. We're not against having a fabulous lifestyle, because that's what we live for. We want to have a fabulous lifestyle, but we also want to do it in a certain way. We want to have a nice lifestyle, but we also want to build our network consistently every year. We strive to be more wealthy and wealthy, but not going down. So we don't like to create liabilities. We like to create more assets. So every year we're trying to create more assets so we can have more cash flow, not liabilities. Does that make sense?
Makes sense. I love it. Beautiful display, beautiful explanation of the difference between or and the difference between and, right? So the first example, which is the average mindset, average people, it's not good or bad. It just is what it is. And to be quite frank, we are ushered into being average, into being just like everybody else. So we kind of understand and we get why people do average things. The average person would say, I got 150. Let me go and I always wanted this dream car. I always this. Let me do it this way.
Right.
And the thing about this is, with the example that Mr. Henderson just used, is you can't tell the difference unless you sit down and have a conversation with somebody. Like when you see me out and I may be rocking X, Y, and Z, you don't know if it's on credit, or you don't know if I'm using a strategy. Like you don't know who paid for that. You don't know if it was a gift. You don't know any of that. And unfortunately, the average person thinks with their 5 senses. Oh, I see she has that. I see he has that. I see this. I want that. Let me act emotionally with my 5 senses instead of breaking it down and saying, okay, how can I create a strategy, or how can I do something so that I achieve the goal in a way that's beneficial for me? And what just dropped into my spirit was, it's about timing.
Yeah, everything is about time.
Most people don't want to wait.
No, no, that is a prerequisite. Let me tell you,
they want to wait.
The prerequisite in order to enter the door of building wealth, you have to first pass understanding timing. It takes time. And most people who are trying to hurry up will never be wealthy, because everything that's good, think about it, in your own life takes time. You're so much more wiser and better than at your age now than when you were 10 years old. You couldn't have amassed this much information and knowledge and experience that you have today when you were 10. When you were 10, you still was laughing at Bugs Bunny and crazy about Disney Channel. But now you're 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. There's a lot more. That took time. That didn't happen in a day. It's years, 20, 30, 40, 50 years for some of you all, 60 years. That is a prerequisite for building wealth. You have to understand time. If you just look at an oak tree You can't just plant a seed. An oak tree has deep rooted roots that when the hurricane comes, it's not going to break. No, it takes time to dig it in there. So one of the prerequisite and requirements in order to build wealth and be strong and for it to sustain hard times is time. So just stop all that hurry up, hurry. Anybody tell you stuff about hurry up real fast, run? Because that's against the universal
Somebody
law.
asked me that the other day. Can I help them go through this process of like healing and growing, and how quick can we get it done? You got the right plan, Roman. Like that's not gonna happen, because I am not gonna lie to you, make it sound fly to you. No, absolutely not. As you were speaking, what dropped into my spirit was the process. There are precious metals in the process. There's preciousness in the process. And a lot of times we want to skip steps and speed up the process.
No.
And here's the thing. You can achieve what looks like success on the outside if you skip steps and you speed up the process. Like, oh, I got it. I took a shortcut and I got here. But here's the thing. The preciousness in the process, the precious metals, the precious wisdom, the precious gems, the precious experience that you would have otherwise collected had you gone through the process, but you did not go through the process and you skip steps, you're going to need those at some point. When you get there, if you've cut corners and you skip steps and you're here, you're going to need those. And what does that look like? That looks like you then either paying someone who understands what you don't understand because they understood the process. So you either have to pay someone to do this thing or to fix this thing, or you have to go back down and do it again. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
And a lot of times people think that they have achieved success because they have won the battle. But they're not realizing that it's bigger than that. It's a war, right? And so to use different terms and different language, people will think that they have achieved success because they have gotten right here. But it's like, you right here, had you gone through the process, you could have been like right here. There is so much more available for you. There is so much more out there for you. But because you got there, you took this shortcut, but you missed all this on the journey.
So let me ask something. You always say I like give metaphors about cooking. I can't cook at all. But is there an item or let's say a cake or something that an ingredient that must go into cooking a cake that's a basic for cooking a cake? Is there a certain, I don't know how to cook, but I'm trying to say, I'm trying to get to your point. Can you make a cake and leave out that item?
Depends on the type of cake. But if it is a signature cake that calls for these specific items and you leave out, so let's just use,
you want to put it in later.
No, that's not gonna work like that. Let's use red velvet. So making a red velvet cake follows a very specific process. Making pound cake as well, but red velvet follows a very specific process. As a matter of fact, you need the cocoa, the Hershey's cocoa, you need to put that into the batter at a certain step in the process in order for the cake to taste like red velvet cake. You cannot go to Publix and get a yellow box cake and just put red food coloring in it and say this is red velvet cake.
So so this process you cannot skip.
You can't skip, right? So if you present the two and like, I got a red velvet cake, both of them are red because I put food coloring in both of them, but I didn't follow the process of this red velvet that calls for you to literally follow these certain steps in a certain way and then add the Hershey's cocoa powder. If you don't do that, your red cake is going to look like red velvet, but when somebody goes in to taste it, they're going to be like, this is foolishness.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that metaphor I use, I don't know how to cook at all, but you help me out.
Why don't you learn how to cook this shit?
Okay. Because I got a lot of stuff I need. I'm still working on my Spanish, my piano. I got a lot of stuff I got to do, Okay, so
I think it'll be good for you.
Okay, so I got another metaphor to bring the point on, because I'm trying to see, can you skip something? How are you saying? Because we were saying time is a prerequisite to building wealth, and some people want to hurry up and do it.
1,000%.
So that's like saying that you want to have a baby, but you don't want to have sexual intercourse.
You put that thought out of my mind. I was thinking about a baby.
Okay, so if you want to have a baby, but you don't have sexual intercourse, you can do that because you can have artificial stimulation, right? You can put an egg and all that, right? Okay. But when you do that, you still have to go through time. Is any way you can just buck the 9 months and just have a child other than theft or other than adoption, but coming out of your body?
Well, no. And this is why
you cannot.
We understand, and that's a great example. We understand that the development during a pregnancy, the gestation period, is very important, because if that period is cut short by a number of days or a number of weeks, and on the flip side, if that period, that phase goes too long, then it can be deadly. It can be detrimental.
Okay.
So perfect example, your grandson.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember he was 2 weeks late? Do you remember that?
Yes.
And they were like, we got to get him out of there.
Right.
Because he's a full-grown child now, full-grown baby. And if we leave him in there and he starts pooping and all this stuff like that, he could die because he'll be in that sack and he'll be eating, his poop and all stuff like that.
Got it. So timing is everything.
Absolutely.
So using metaphorically in terms of when we're saying that you cannot skip certain, vital, extreme important steps. And one of them is time, time.
It's preciousness in the process.
So just like you cannot shortcut or skip the development of a child in a woman's womb. It has to go through certain developmental stages.
Because if that happens, and if the baby does come early, what happens? Do you get to just take the baby home? No.
Right.
Baby has to go through a special unit in the hospital.
So building wealth is very metaphorically similar. You would say building wealth. And so why do you think so many people are constantly trying to shortcut it and scams and get something for nothing and still come up with a baby, i.e. money and wealth?
They aren't in control of their mind.
Well, yeah.
We're going to go all the way down. Let me knock your head in 6 feet.
Okay, they're not in control of mind. That means outside forces are telling them, you could do this, you could do that. You don't really need to go through the trimesters. You don't need to go through the cycles of this development of time in order to build wealth. That's why advertisers and marketers, that's why the subject today, y'all, we're talking about, are you acting rich? Now, if you don't know if you fit that description, you're acting rich, what are some of the signs? I know charging a Gucci belt on a credit card, that is a sign of acting rich.
You know what? I just realized I wasn't here last Wednesday.
Oh, your mind is all over. Come back, Heisey. Okay, no, you wasn't here, but you're here this day. You're here today. Yeah, you was in a train in Michigan, right? That's
okay.
Okay, but now you back. See how that's going? And come back. Woo. Okay. So some of the signs, because I want the audience to, because I want them to check themselves and be true to yourself, because you cannot grow until you first.
Okay, all right, let's go.
Okay, so some of the signs, and I know one of the signs. Excuse me, I know one of the signs. If you are charging and the Gucci belt, because you don't have the money to pay for it,
correct,
you're charging it, and you're not planning on paying it off at the end of the month,
correct,
you're acting rich.
Correct.
Good.
1000%.
Okay.
If you, here's another one. Let's step on some toes.
Okay.
All right,
Okay. Give me another sign.
If your car note is more than you are setting us, if you're paying more for your car note than what you're paying yourself every month, i.e. through retirement, investment, savings, you acting rich. So that means if your car note, that's good, $750,
right,
and you ain't saving $750,
you acting rich.
Play.
Oh,
pretend.
Man. Oh, you acting rich.
Yep.
You acting rich.
Yep.
Okay, here's another sign. If you live in the apartment,
apartments,
in the apartment, and you drive up in a 500S Mercedes Benz, and you paying rent, but you drive up in the apartment, you paying rent, but you driving up in the Mercedes Benz, you acting rich.
You acting rich. You play. It's play.
You
pretend.
Acting rich. Give me another sign. Give me another sign. Some people still, they say, not me. Just give me another sign so the audience will know if they're acting rich.
I'm gonna give you one. Don't be shamed.
Okay.
But since we here, we all the way here now. If you are taking all the trips, buying all the things, going to all the restaurants, attending all the concerts, and you have not been to the dentist or the doctor, and you don't have no insurance, you are acting rich.
You acting rich.
You pretending. Because insurance costs, it costs too much, and I don't want to go because when I was 2, the dentist put a needle in my mouth and it hurt and I can't go. What is you doing?
Whoa.
Yeah. Okay, you go next.
So you saying, okay, so
because, and the reason I say that about the dentist and the doctor is because you are focused on things outside of you. You're focused on the look. I'm here, I'm there, and you're not taking care of yourself. You're not taking care of what's inside of you. You don't know what's going on with your mouth. Wow. You don't know what's going on with your body. Like, what are you doing?
Wow. So if you're wearing a Rolex watch, and you are working as a school teacher, you acting rich.
Let me tell you something.
You acting rich. You are acting rich. Everybody know how the injustice that's in the amount of money that our lovely, fantastic school teachers should be making. And we know.
And the luxury cars, the foreign cars with the teachers too. Because on your salary, baby, that ain't that ain't the money.
I have one that said, Henderson, she wanted to get a Range Rover. And she's a school teacher. She was acting rich.
Now, here's the thing. If you're a school teacher and you have investment properties on the side, because we do have clients like that.
That's true.
School teachers, and they have investment properties. So they love teaching, or they've been teaching for 20 years, 30 years, whatever the case may be. And now it's just like, assets. Okay, I'm doing this, but I also have my investment property on the side that's bringing in income. Then, okay. But if you are
living with home with your mama.
Oh, God. Oh, you're really getting them.
If you living home with your mama and you pull up there in a BMW, you acting rich. Yeah.
Dang, I had a good one. It came in. It's going now. Let me see.
You are acting rich. If you how much some purses cost? $2,500, $5,000?
About that.
And you don't own no real estate or home or nothing, you acting rich. If you walking around with red bottom shoes on, you acting rich.
They do make your toes twinkle though. They be like, ooh,
twinkle.
I mean, never mind. Let me come back.
You acting rich. Okay. If all your wardrobe that you wear are designer glasses, designer everything, you acting rich.
And you don't have some of the other stuff in order, right? You don't have your savings, your investments, because you could get to the point. It's true. Like you could get to the point to where you're let me say this. A lot of times we experience or we encounter people who have the name brand, the luxury, the top of X, Y, and Z, and they literally have no money. They have no money. What they are buying these items with is their salary and their credit. So if there was an emergency, they would have to charge it on credit and pay 30% interest. So if you're doing these things and you have these habits and you only have, first of all, one source of income, or if that one source of income does not allow you to set some money aside so that you can actively be saving and investing every month, then you're out of order. Because we understand that you get to a point, like what else what I'm going to invest in? Like, okay, you buy real estate, but you have to wait for that to happen. The stock market, I can take some chew off a little bit from my investments and go do X, Y, Z. The point is, we want you to understand that we don't want you to pretend. The symbols of status, we want you to actually have taken the steps and the processes to actually achieve that status.
Yeah.
We don't want you to like shortcut. Like, I want to pretend like I'm at the status, but if you ask me, if you put a gun to my head right now and be like, give me 10 grand or get flat.
Well, they said that the average,
you out of gas.
They say 50% of Americans, if you put a gun to their head, they can come up with $10,000.
$10,000, they can't come up with $5,000.
They say $1,000. They have to go to HR and say, I need to borrow from my retirement account, 401k.
Right.
That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about aside from your employment, because some people, if they didn't have a 401k with a job, they wouldn't save nothing. They wouldn't save a dime. They'll spend all of their money. Every dime they make, they'll spend it as soon as they get it and wait to get some more. So the day we're talking about, because I read an article, Saturday's show. Me and James, he was talking about it, and a billionaire came out and he said the reason why most Americans will never be rich because they would rather act rich and look rich than to be rich. They go out and charge and buy Rolex watches when the wealthy people buy assets.
To pay for
the Rolex watches.
Absolutely.
Wealthy people buy assets, real estate, insurance, annuities, or have a business that's going to give them money to pay for all the luxury and items that you want to enjoy throughout your lifestyle. Most people don't do that. Most people actually use their future dollars that they're going to need in the future now, so they can act rich and impress people who don't even like them, or who they don't care about, or who they don't even know. Really, 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 I was asking this guy that called me today and said, hey, this, well, he says, do I want to buy a $1,800 sweater?
Why are you calling you
Dior? A Dior. And then he told me, what was it? what's the other Balenciaga?
Balenciaga.
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 He says, those cost like $2,500. I said, well, who is Balenciaga? Is that a man or woman? He says, really, I don't know. He said, but he got him to sell. He gets the stuff from Europe and he sells it to people. And I say, well, why would somebody want to spend $2,500 on a sweater or
tell him don't be trying to give me no new daddy.
Shirt?
Don't call you with that no more, because I don't want you drawing in the wrong type of attention.
No, but we was
then I gotta fight him.
No,
I ain't want to do that.
You know, I'm not like that. I rather put on a
right.
sweatshirt.
Just tell him don't call you.
But I was having a conversation. He was telling me so many people would rather look rich than actually create richness and create wealth. They'd rather shortcut and then time go by and they wind up in their latter years being in poverty.
Yeah, you gotta, it goes back to time, right? And understanding where you are in the process, right? So again, we're not vilifying your desire for luxury items, luxury goods, luxury experiences, because your girl loves all of that.
Yeah, we all like living.
We're not vilifying that. What we're saying is make sure that you're doing it
in a certain way.
And when it's your season, right? So if you're in a season where if you're listening to this and you're like, dang, they stepping on my toes, don't get offended, right? Like the trigger is something that you need to treat. Like, dang, you know what? They're right. Let me schedule my dentist appointment. Let me schedule my doctor appointment. Let me go in and take this off auto pay. Let me cancel this. Let me pay down this credit card. Let me start saving $100 a month. Let me start saving $200 a month so that I can get to this point. You can always do better. And as we were speaking, I heard in my head, someone like, well, the economy and it's hard out here for people. Get out of that mindset. I have been onboarding new clients recently who the amount of money these people got sitting in the bank. This one girl, she's a young girl. She got like $250,000 cash just sitting in the bank. Just sitting in the bank.
What is she, a nurse or something? Yeah, she's traveling nurse.
And on the flip side, I also have nursing clients, traveling nursing clients, and regular clients who are telling me about how hard it is. So it's not about what is hard or what the world is telling you is happening. It's about you. It's about you recognizing where you are, where you want to go, who you want to be. So as you listen to this and you're like, dang, there may be some ways that I'm acting rich. There may be some ways that I am dressed for the summer and it is actually the winter. Like right now, it's December and in Miami it's freezing, right? Now imagine if I would have come out here in my summer attire. Not that your clothes are wrong, not that what you're wearing is wrong. You're just in the wrong season for it. So what we're saying to you is not that your desire for more, your desire for wealth, your desire for luxury is wrong. You might be in the wrong season for it. What do you need to do? Focus on the season that you're in now. If the season that you're in now is a season where you need to look and polish up your skills so you can demand more salary, you need to switch jobs. You need to go back to school so that you can educate yourself so that you can make more money. If you need to tighten up your budget, you may be in that season, and that's a-okay, because guess what? One thing's for certain and two things for sure. The seasons are going to continue to change.
Always.
The season that you're in now is not your forever season.
It's not permanent.
And a lot of times people get caught up in that. They think that what they're experiencing now is how it's always going to be. And so what ends up happening is internally, they start running that loop over and over and over again. And they wonder why 5, 10, 15 years have passed and they haven't made any changes. Is because they're running a loop of what they see and what they've experienced in the past. And they don't have the discipline or don't want to take the time, maybe not even have the self-esteem, the confidence, the courage to do something new, to think a new thought and then change. And so you're just doing this over and over and over and over and over again. Shout out to Marshawn Lynch, right? One of my favorite clips. You know that clip? Do you know that? Oh my God, I gotta send it to you afterwards. But back to topic. You got to recognize where you are and take a stand and be like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is where I want to be. This is where I'm going to go. The season that I'm in now is not the season that I'm always going to be in. And I recognize that if I am wearing the wrong attire, let's say you are in Michigan, it was snowing. I couldn't believe I got off the plane. It was snowing. But anyway, it was like 19 degrees. Imagine me being from sunny South Florida. I'll be proud to tell people all the time, I'm from Miami. Imagine had I been there with my Miami attire, with my shorts, my bikini, because I insist on wearing it because I love this and it makes me feel so good in 19-degree weather. Guess what would have happened?
You'd have froze.
I would have froze.
Yeah, you got sick.
I would have got sick, froze. They would have had to fly you up, look at your daughter, hi, see what you're doing. Like it would have escalated quickly, right? So what I'm saying is when you do things in the wrong season and you're out of order, you run the risk of all these complications. You run the risk of getting sick. You run the risk of speeding up your death process. You run the risk of so many things that you haven't even thought about because all you're focused on is I want to wear this in this season, or I want this right now. I had somebody tell me that the other day. It's my season to buy a house, ma'am. It's not. It's not.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine. He told me, he said he was getting upset with his wife, and he said that she needs to borrow from her 401k and go buy a house right now. And I said, why would you do that? I said, it's not time. Interest rates are high. They're coming down. And we're predicting that, this
but
is
why
not
is he telling her to
sustainable.
borrow from her 401k to go?
Because he's saying
what?
Yeah, because he's saying
what we doing,
he's saying in 3 years, he's setting things up right now in 3 years, so they can just retire and live somewhere out of Florida and live somewhere in Georgia where it's cheaper.
But how he making plans with no tools?
That's I told him.
Did you tell him that? You didn't talk to him?
Yeah. But he's
you can't make plans with no tools.
There's three kind of people: those who see, those that see when they're told, and those that just do not see. You can talk to them till they blue in the face. They just do not see. They don't even hear you. They just blah blah blah. You sound like wah 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 wah. So you got to recognize that. But here, what we're talking to the people that can hear and see us. Are you acting rich? Are you not saving and investing your money? And if you don't know how to do that, call 305-825-1444. That's all you got to do. Or you can go on our website and fill out some information. We have a plethora of things on our website that I think you guys will absolutely love. When the last time have you been on our website? It's new, it's improved, it's user-friendly. I think you will really like it, and you're going to find some information that can really help you. Our website is www.the Henderson Financial Group. I'm going to repeat that. www.the Henderson Financial Group. Go there, and I want you to peruse it. And I promise you, you're going to learn something and find out something, and hopefully you'll get this eagerness to take a step, because it all begins with one step. You make one step, and the Creator, the Comforter, the Invisible will make two. I promise you. But you have got to do this. You're too grown to keep saying when you grow up. You up now. You up now. You don't, not when you grow up, not later on. You got to do it now, because time, time, is the most precious thing that all of us have. time. What are you doing with your 24 hours? Are you just spending your money and acting rich? Because the people know you're not rich. I'm just letting you know that. They know you're not, but they see you Gucci down, Prada down, Louis Vuitton down. You know that you acting rich when you come outside with a Louis Vuitton hat, the Louis Vuitton shirt, the Louis Vuitton pants, and the Louis Vuitton shoes. Soon as you come out like that, we know you acting rich.
Because you want all of it on at the same time. Right. All of it at the same time.
You say, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. Look, when you acting rich when you walk outside with Gucci and diamonds and gold and diamonds and diamonds and diamonds. We know you acting rich. We ain't seen you on TV. We ain't heard that song that you wrote. We know we you ain't seen you design the building. We know your girlfriends know you acting rich. Oh, look at her. Look at him. Mental. A lot of mental stuff going on in there. Don't be jealous of people like that. You should pray for them.
Oh my
Comfort
God.
them. Oh.
Okay, come back. We're alive. We're alive on the internet right now.
Oh, we are.
I feel like I'm in your office.
Oh my God.
I'm like, we're alive on the World Wide Web.
Where you going with all that on, man?
Oh,
I went to the Heat game, man. We were sitting down, man. This guy came with, man, this guy had looked like Mr. T. He got diamonds, and I mean, he ain't scared somebody got. He don't watch the news, so they just kill him and take his stuff. But I guess that was worth his life saying, "Look at me, I'm all that." You know what I mean? The more money I make, man, I tell you, listen, when I make $100 million, I'm gonna get up on here with a wrinkled up t-shirt and I'm on some shorts. All right. I ain't ironing my clothes no more. I ain't doing none
That's
of that.
it. No more ironing.
Nothing. Cause I got so much money, I don't have to.
You ain't got to iron.
I ain't got to.
Well, never mind.
All right. So
Um,
today's topic was
mhm.
check yourself. You can go in the bathroom, close the door. If you got 10 credit cards,
Yeah.
you're acting rich.
Yeah.
Especially, reason why you had to have 10 is because each of them got $3,000 balance, limits,
Mhm.
$5,000 limits. When you're wealthy, you ain't got to have them in credit cards. You really don't.
Mm-mm.
Just too many people, because you're going to pay them off at the end of the month. So you're not going to pay 5 different credit cards off. So you got a lot of credit cards, you're acting rich. You don't need that. And let me tell you something, you need to work on your credit score because they ain't playing. That's a way of discriminating against you.
Yeah.
Especially if you got some melanin on you, you got to have enough green to cover your black. And that's going to be hard to do. I'm telling you. So you got to have assets.
I feel like,
liabilities.
I was going to say, I feel like between credit and cash and just your financial status, that levels the playing field some. I feel that way because now it's about dollars and cents. It's like all the other stuff is kind of irrelevant. You still have to be aware and know who you're amongst. But when we're talking money, we're talking money.
Yes.
We're not talking about the other stuff. We're not, my terms, we're not vibrating on the frequency of you don't like me because this or that, whatever the case may be. We're in this room, we're on this vibration, we're on this frequency together. Let's do this deal. Like I got my money, you got your money, let's go.
Yes, that's when we should overcome. When we all have, we can do things together. If you are living paycheck to paycheck, I'm telling you, there's no excuse. What the Henderson Financial Group, we pride ourselves on. When we look at your cash flow, your budget, how much you're spending, we find money. We tell you that you're spending money unnecessarily on certain things, and we'll help you get rid of them. Some people got gym memberships. They ain't been to the gym since the COVID, and it's still coming out of their bank accounts every month. We find that money. Say, man, go and get on YouTube and do a 20-minute HIIT exercise. Stop paying them people monthly $50 a month. That's $600 a year. We find that money for you. The Henderson finds you because you're so busy taking care of the kids and getting in traffic and dealing with the work and all that, and you're tired when you get home. But if you make an appointment with the Henderson Financial Group, we'll look at your cash flow. We'll look at how your money is going. We'll track it. And our specialty is we'll find money that you unnecessarily are spending. And we'll take that money. Not that you have to make more money. We will take what you have and we will slice it up and tell you how to make it last and how to make it work for you. I'm telling you, there's a reason why you are listening and hearing us, but you got to be proactive. It's a lonely road. You got to walk this road by yourself. If you think about it, all of us are individuals, but all of us have to swallow on our own. All of us have to go to the bathroom and do our thing on our own. Nobody can do it for you, mama, daddy. So that's the same premise as what I'm telling you, that you have to make this step and call 305-825-1444 right now. Not tomorrow, but right now.
Like I tell my kids in the car line, it's time to get out. Not now, but right now. Not now, but right now. I'm like, who's texting you back to back? I'm all in your business.
It's this guy who's rehabbing the Poconos house. He just
that's why it's an emergency.
Yeah, he always want this. Oh, one more thing. Oh, the roof now. Oh, one of them kind of people. But anyway, all right, we're running out of time. We gotta go.
I think so. I mean, we're good, but I think we touched on all the points.
Yes.
Right? Was there something else that you wanted to add?
Yeah, just check yourself. Are you acting rich? And call 305-825-1444.
Yes. Saturday.
You'll be on. Yes.
You'll be on Saturday. Next week, I'll be here.
You will?
Yeah.
Oh, you're not going to town?
Not next Wednesday. I'll be here for the Wednesday show.
Okay. Right. So tell us what's happening.
Saturday at 9 a.m. in the a.m. Join Mr. Henderson and James T. Thomas for the Understanding Money Show at 9 a.m. live. And then next week on Wednesday, me and Mr. Henderson
we'll be right back. What a great show.
We'll be right back.
Something to help you to think. New thought.
Yeah.
A new thought. Are you acting rich? That's today's new thought. Hey, Megan. Nice hanging out with you, Megan.
She says you're her internet uncle. He's hilarious, but he be telling the truth. You wait till
Nothing but the truth.
In person it gets, I don't know if I want to say worse or better, but it's
Nothing.
It's like a
but
little comedy show around here.
Nothing but the truth. Okay, Megan?
Yes. And for those of you who used to listen to the Hyacinth Henderson podcast on audio only, not the video, I dropped a new podcast episode today.
Oh, good.
I hadn't released one since May.
Wow. What were you doing? Okay. All right. Listen,
I was traveling in south of France. That's what I was doing.
Having a wonderful. We're going to Japan this year. You gonna work on that
next year? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to go to Europe before that too.
Okay.
It's been in my spirit to go to Europe.
Wow. What part of Europe is pretty big? You know what I mean?
I know, but Spain, Japan, yeah, no.
Italy, Amalfi Coast.
I don't know. Europe is just coming up for me.
London. Okay.
London has been coming up.
Paris.
So our traveling people, Japan people, I'm doing that. I'll be doing that between today and tomorrow. I'll be sending out emails, and we're gonna be going next year.
All right. Peace.
All right. One love and soul. No. All right. Until next time. Peace.